Coming up on today's Cowboys Report, the latest on the Micah Parsons seemingly never-ending saga, and something tells me we're not done yet. Trevon Diggs potentially hinting at some good news and some roster cut candidate buzz as we rapidly approach the final decision on the 53-man roster, at least the initial decision on the 53-man roster. Before we get to that, we are still going to do the Micah Parsons decision pool. If it drags out beyond this next week and a half span, we'll just keep doing it. You pick the date Micah signs or gets traded. You can go to chatsports.com/Micah to see all the entries in there right now. You Venmo me at WhatGoingDowney, $5 to enter a 50-50 split the pot for the winner, since eventually one of these two things happens. That's at WhatGoingDowney for the 50-50 split the pot. Let's go to the Micah Parsons saga. The silly saga continues between the Micah camp and David Mulugheta and the Cowboys camp and Jerry Jones and everything else in there. So what has happened recently is this. Jerry Jones sure did talk a lot. This was not a PR push to get attention and then announce a deal. This was a PR push to get some of the fan base back on the Jones family side and the Cowboys side there. Spoke with Michael Irvin in depth, spoke with Stephen A. Smith in depth as well. A lot of what Jerry said can kind of be condensed down into this: it's not my fault. That's the approach that Jerry Jones has taken. It's the exact same approach Micah Parsons has taken, because this is what happens when the parents are feuding with each other and they don't want the kid to be mad at them. Summing up a lot of this here, the big notes of what Jerry Jones said is he is convinced that he and Micah already agreed to a deal. There was no need at all for the agent. And then once the agent got involved, the agent told him to shove it up his you-know-what and not agree to the deal that Jerry thinks Micah agreed to. Micah does not feel that way. The NFLPA does not feel that way, because that's not how it works, actually. We'll get more into that here. Of note, Jerry, as he often does with speaking in hyperbole and idioms, the agent did not tell him to shove it up the butt. That's not what happened. Now, did the agent say, you negotiate with me, not my client? Oh, yeah, that one definitely happened, which is why it's so frustrating that you were so close to a deal and yet egos come involved when all the parties involved here and it all falls apart. So what has Micah done since then? He took his, Cowboy stuff off of Twitter and Instagram, which, by the way, I think it was really weird that I saw a lot of people freaking out over that more than a friggin' trade request. What, the trade request wasn't the first clue of, hey, this isn't a bad relationship right now? Like, they're in a bad spot. And then he was, tweeting cryptically and verses and TikTok edits, and then did this sign to both the Falcons fan and the Cowboys fan, because I think it was just like not the call me sign so much as it was cool sign. This is what happens when we're in cryptic, posting stage, and he's not saying anything and all that good jazz there. The agent did deny the claim that he told Jerry to shove it, but did want to mention that, by the way. And then he was lying weirdly on the table because he's in his mopey phase. That's what's going on there. So who do you blame more now? MP for Micah Parsons, JJ for Jerry Jones? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. We'll do a pulse on who is winning the fandom war right now. More thoughts for me to come on this. MP for Micah Parsons, JJ for Jerry Jones. As a Cowboys fan, I want what is best for the Cowboys. That is as a team. That is not what's best for the owner, not what is best for the agent, not what is best for the player. I wish them all well, but my priority is to win games. I expect the agent to do what is best for his client, thus himself, which is really just get them paid the most money possible. I expect that. They're the defense lawyer in this analogy here. I expect the owner to do what's best for the team. And I don't think that's happening, at least not on a consistent basis here for the Dallas Cowboys from the Jones boys side of things. If Jerry Jones actually thought and believed he could get a deal done with Micah Parsons without the agent getting involved, he is delusional. That was never going to happen. It actually is what Jerry Jones has been doing, a violation of the CBA. It is. That is not allowed anymore. The rules have changed. Sticking with my lawyer analogy here, agent is the defense attorney. The cop can talk to the suspect, Jerry and Micah here, as much as they want. But as soon as the client / the suspect, whatever, says, I want my lawyer, that's it. You have to shut it down. you have to go through the agent, which you were always going to have to anyway because you didn't have Micah sign the contract. Like, what? It's honestly delusional if Jerry thought he could get one over on the agent. That's what they were trying to do. It was calculated by the Cowboys to try to go around David Mulugheta. That was delusional if they ever thought it was going to work. At this point, I don't care who's to blame. Get it done. You've got 11-ish days to figure this out. Maybe 10 if you want to count day up. But they did it with Dak. So get it done. Go win football games. Stop the right now it is a PR battle. But not PR and then we're going to cave and announce the deal. It's the Cowboys are trying to get the fan base back on their side because they lost it initially. And they're doing PR mop-up work. And I'm tired of it. We're not done. There's going to be more stupid stuff that comes out probably from both sides over the next week or so. I don't care. I want to win games. Paying Micah helps you do that. So go get it done. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father with one kid and a second one on the way, trust me when I say life insurance matters. It's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry, and it's more affordable than you might think. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There's no complicated process, 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get that free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Trevon Diggs, Saturday afternoon, tweeting this one out with the thank you God and the prayer emoji sign. I interpret this as nothing to do with Micah Parsons, although I'm sure many of us would like that. I think this is referring to his injury status and his return from injury status. Now, per head coach Brian Schottenheimer on his Saturday press conference, Trevon Diggs is expected to begin the season on the active roster for the Dallas Cowboys, which would be a significant boost for Dallas, even if he doesn't come back week one, although does seem like that possibility still kind of exists, despite Diggs saying he didn't think it was going to happen. Diggs mentioning this kind of on social media with the thank God tweet that he sent out there, which clearly in reference to his injury status. Schottenheimer saying he might be able to practice this upcoming week as well. It's a big deal for the Cowboys to get this outcome. They need him out there. So we'll see when exactly Trevon Diggs is able to make his return, but I view this as a significant win for the Dallas Cowboys. Kind of like I mentioned, you need him. This cornerback room isn't good enough without Trevon Diggs out there and active and healthy. Hopefully he's back soon. When we did our roster projection, I did have Diggs on there on the active roster, which means somebody else is going to be a pretty tough cut. They're going to have to figure that one out there, but I'd rather have Diggs. I get that the tackling's been an issue. Even those of you who don't like Diggs, come on, he's better than Andrew Booth. Like, that's not even a conversation. So we'll get the timing of it, if it's week 1, if it's week 2, or week 3, but definitely a positive update there on Trevon Diggs being in line to be on the active roster, which means you don't have to put him on PUP. He's able to play whether it's week 1, week 2, week 3. For now, we will still list him on the PUP list on the depth chart until that is finalized because, stuff happens, until it's actually a done deal. I don't want to risk jinxing it. How about that way? But a Bland, Diggs, Elam trio does make things a lot better. It does benefit the Cowboys in quite a significant way for what that quarterback room looks like. Even if he's not back week 1, getting him back in week 2, getting him back in week 3, whatever it ends up being, is a significantly better boost for the Cowboys. So predictions. What week will Trevon Diggs return to the Dallas Cowboys? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's talk Mazi Smith's future here. Mazi doesn't seem to be a full-on roster lock. I would still be surprised if he was cut. Maybe a trade and you go claim somebody off of waivers is possible, but I would be surprised. It's not impossible. It's you could do it if you really are just out on the guy altogether. But my biggest pushback against cutting Mazi, is even though we are right to be frustrated with how he has played and how everything about his tenure in Dallas has gone, I think there's been some organizational failure here as well. I look at this Cowboys defensive tackle room, and I go, shoot, you might need Mazi, actually. Which is really a statement not on Smith's play, but how bad this defensive tackle room is. It's not good. Like, Osa and Solomon can do 3-technique stuff. You're going to need some 1-techniques. And they still work Mazi Smith ahead of Jay Toia. I think that matters. Thought Mazi actually played solidly in that third preseason game. We noticed him in a positive way, which, hey, haven't done that in the first 2 games. Like, Winfrey, I would almost be like, if you want to cut Mazi, that's fine. You better go get a good defensive tackle. They passed on guys like Harrison Phillips, so we'll see. Now, we will have all the Cowboys roster news that you'll need over the next, we'll round and say 48 hours. I guess beyond 48 hours. We'll have claims and everything else too. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Let's talk Phil Mafah. There are some tricky decisions to make in general. The running back room is one of them. When I did my rush projection, it'll be in the comments in the description too. I tried to go a lot based on like how the Cowboys deployed these players. And although they didn't all play at the same time, this was the Cowboys' preseason pecking order. Javonte Williams didn't play, period. He was RB1. When Miles Sanders played, he was the first running back to get action. When Deuce Vaughn played and Jaden Blue played, Jaden Blue worked behind Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn worked behind Miles Sanders. Phil Mafah worked behind all of them. And then Malik Davis was RB6. Now, I don't think anyone actually would think Deuce Vaughn makes the team over Jaden Blue, and I would probably crash out if that actually happened. But if they carry a 4th back, I kind of think they're going to go with Miles Sanders or Deuce Vaughn. Not because I think they're better. I think actually Phil Mafah's power running is something you don't really have on the roster and probably be more valuable, and I would definitely cut Miles Sanders before those guys. I just am looking at what the Cowboys have done with their actions, and I think that that's going to be a conversation they have. Mafah, Vaughn, Sanders, how many, if any, make the team? It sure seemed to me like watching that final preseason game, the Cowboys were trying to hide Phil Mafah. He had a couple really good runs in the preseason. I thought both he and Deuce Vaughn, frankly, and even Jaden Blue did a good job in pass protection. I wonder how much the Cowboys will ding Mafah for the drop he had. It wasn't a perfect throw, but hit him in the hand. That stuff should be caught. I wonder how they view special teams, because they all got reps. Jaden Blue for sure did. So did Deuce Vaughn, though, and he's gotten more reps before. So I think Mafah's size fits better for that, but I don't know what's going to happen. I lean towards Phil Mafah clearing waivers. Not a guarantee, but if I had to bet right now, I think that he would clear waivers. Do you agree? And it is fine to disagree, by the way. This is America. I believe in votes and stuff. Y for yes, N for no. Would Phil Mafah clear waivers? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Y for yes, N for no. I fully expect Trayshawn Holden, the fan favorite, to be cut as well. I also fully expect him to clear waivers. I would be kind of surprised if Holden didn't end up clearing them. Kind of turned into a body catcher down the stretch this past year, or in the preseason, which I didn't love. He had a bad drop in the final game. He doesn't really offer a lot on special teams, at least not right now. There was not much interest in him in the UDFA phase, so I don't think Holden's going to make this team. I think he is very clearly behind the Lamb, Pickens, Tolbert, Turpin crop, and frankly behind the Flanoy Brooks crop. But I do think, and I want him here, I do think he gets down to the practice squad.